Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and this is Echoes of the Past, the third scenario of the Path to Carcosa. This is the Return to set, so if you're wondering what this basement's about, that's what it's about. We've added that entirely, and I don't remember this scenario nearly well enough to have any idea what exactly that'll mean. Before I do my mulligans and start reading the agendas, let's talk about what I've done with my decks. So with Ginny, I gained 18 experience as opposed to the 10 that Lily's going to get. I got 6 of that because I spent forever just hanging out using the Greenman Medallion, and I got 2 more because I'm risking permanent death using Sharon's Obel. So obviously I bought the Black Fan. I just have to spend all 6 experience on one card, and the Black Fan is completely insane. It's Leo DeLuca and Gios in a hand slot. Technically it has conditions, but those conditions are not going to be hard for us to meet. However, since the Black Fan is taking up a hand slot, I tossed a magnifying glass and used my adaptable to put a Burn the Midnight Oil in instead. I also decided to pick up 2 copies of Charisma for my 2 allies and changed out my Secondario Alamin for a Leo DeLuca. And we're slowly starting to transition into this sets of 1 with very high draw, where we're just hitting the assets we need consistently enough that we don't need to bother actually running duplicates. This is actually a really interesting point against the card Underworld Contacts. Originally, I wanted to run that, but I realized I'd be cutting 2 copies of Easy Mark and a Black Market and a Deep Knowledge. And I was actually making a less consistent deck rather than a more consistent one. So, yeah, this deck is actually just going to relatively reliably hit these unique one-of assets. It's not going to be a hard thing for us to do. We're not a Seeker, but with Black Market and 2 copies of Deep Knowledge, we're going to have a pretty high rate at getting through this deck. And with the last parts of my experience, I picked up Hot Streak level 2, and 2 copies of Counter Espionage to make sure that no particularly bad treacheries could really mess with us that badly. These are not priority upgrades. I'm just trying to make the strongest deck I can for right now, because I think this deck is actually like way stronger than I'd expect a Scenario 3 deck to be. If somebody has Black Fan and Double in Scenario 3, I expect them to have nothing else. But since I paid for that exclusively with Greenman Medallion, that's not the case for Ginny. So I think as long as I try to enable these to go off, I'm going to have an insanely powerful deck for this point of the campaign. That is hopefully a good summary of how Ginny has changed. Lily is not hard to summarize. She got 10 experience, like you're supposed to, and she spent it on Charisma and Cyclopean Hammer, like you're supposed to. One of these characters is substantially less complicated than the other, and the funny thing is, I think Lily Chen's actually the better character. Like, every scenario is going super long because of Ginny, and we're getting all of this experience and making your deck completely crazy. But at this point in the campaign, if like I look at what's happening, it's very obviously Lily Chen who's carrying. Ginny's just there, she's adequate, she's fine, but Lily's single-handedly killing obscene numbers of monsters with alarming levels of consistency. Actually, I almost forgot something incredibly important with Lily. Lily's unique asset, this Discipline card that's giving you +1 fist, you aren't limited to 1. The way she actually works is for every 15 experience you've spent, you're able to get a second one as long as you also take a second weakness. Her weakness is really not that harsh, and permanent stat pumps are really, really good. So I will absolutely pick up a second copy of Burden of Destiny. And I'm going to be picking up the Brain Discipline. There are 3 reasons I'm picking the Brain Discipline over the Foot Discipline or the Book Discipline. The Foot Discipline will be good eventually, but I don't really feel like I have much to enable it right now. The Book Discipline is neat, but I'm honestly not sure it's worth picking. I don't know if Lily's really able to vomit her hand out to make use of this. But the Brain Discipline is just great on 3 different fronts. It gives you +1 Brain, which is great defensively in Carcosa. It gives you +1 Brain, which Cyclopean Hammer uses to hit people. And the big one is take 1 direct damage and heal 3 horror, or vice versa, which is insane. So yeah, at this point, I think Lily is like not quite there, but she is incredibly strong. Also worth noting is that unlike the other discipline I have, which is rather hard to flip over, you can't take a skill test that round, the Brain Discipline just requires you to take no damage or horror, which I would say most rounds you're probably not taking damage or horror. It'll naturally flip over on its own pretty easily. And before we can do our mulligans, we're going to have to go through and pick out the cards that go under Stick to the Plan, Prepared for the Worst, Emergency Cash, and Ever Vigilance. And now we can make our mulligans. On Ginny's end, Milan's definitely staying, Easy Mark's definitely staying, and I think these other 3 can all get out of here. I'm fine with them. Magnifying Glass and Milan is enough to function as a cleaver, so I'm happy with this. We can do better, but it's good enough. And on Lily's end, Cool, we don't need anything else. We have the one card that matters. I think I hold Sixth Sense and toss everything else looking for Xavier and Rosary so that I can find clues as well. That sounds right to me. Cool, I've got 2 copies of Sixth Sense now. So let's get into it. Both of my investigators are going to start in the entry hall, so let's read the agenda in the act and figure out what's going on. Agenda 1A. The truth is hidden. Surprisingly, the front door of the Historical Society's Georgian Manor are cracked halfway open when you arrive. Who else could be here at this hour? Skip the place 1 doom on the current agenda step of the Mythos phase. Force, after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy in play, flip those clues to their doom side. And 4 doom to advance. I don't remember this scenario particularly well. If it's the one I think it is, we absolutely crushed this scenario in 4-player. Like, it wasn't even close. But also there was a Mark Harrigan involved, so who's to say? Act 1A, Race for Answers. Each of the Historical Society's many rooms contain records and documents that may aid you in your search for answers about the king and Yeva. There must be something here that can guide you toward the truth, and we need 4 clues to advance that. Our current location is the entry hall, 2 shroud, no clues, it's connected to the ground floor locations, and you can resign. After reading all the text on the cards, the locations are very linear, very straightforward, and there don't appear to really be any rules involving movement that are complicated or limiting. So on my first action as Lily, I'm going to play Stand Together on both of us. Then I'm going to play Cyclopean Hammer with most of my money. And then I'm going to move up because we have things to attend to on the top floor. We're not going to let this doom get out of control. In the squat halls that we stepped into is a 3-shroud, no clues location. And if each location in play is revealed and there are no clues on locations in play, place player clues on quiet halls from the token bank. So this is a backdoor to make sure you never lock yourself out of this scenario. On Jenny's end, I'm going to spend all of my money playing Milan and Magnifying Glass. I'm going to move right to this location. Each enemy at this location gets +1 fight and +1 evade, and there are 2 clues here at 2 shroud, which I will investigate immediately at 5 to 2. Skull, minus nothing. I will take the money and the clue. Thank you, Mr. Milan. And that's my rounds. Top of the round, no doom. We don't do that in this one. However, the Seeker Carcosa does pick up a doom at the end of the Mythos raise because he can't grab clues from his unrevealed location. Also, we should totally do the upkeep phase. That's a thing that helps us a lot as players. Anyway, Mythos cards. Locked door. Well, this room is locked now. It was fun while it lasted. I won't be getting this clue. Yeah, I'm just going to leave. This clue's dead to me now. And for Lily's evil card, we got the Agent of the King. So this is the guy from the first scenario, the 4 attack, 4 health dude, prey most clues, and hunter, but Lily drew him, so Lily will be the one getting him. And after he hits me, he'll steal my clues, and he hits for 1-2, which is pretty scary, but I mean, I have Cyclopean Hammer. So just like I originally explained Dragon Pull and then spent the entire game swinging the weapon at very high numbers, this is a card where I have to briefly explain it before I just roll very high numbers all the time. It's got a fight action that adds my brain to my fist, which is a base of a 9 with no assets in play right now because of these disciplines. This attack deals +1 damage. If I succeed against non-elite enemies, I can move them 1 location away from me, which is usually irrelevant, but sometimes game-breaking. And if I succeed by 3 or more, I deal 3 damage, and I can move the enemies 2 locations instead of 1. And what all that text really means is I rolled a swing at very high number. Skull was minus the highest number of doom on an enemy, so it's -1, so I hit for 3 damage. And why am I even bothering to count? It's going to die. Yeah, overkilled by 2, instantly gone. And I believe this thing has aloof? Yes, so I can actually move up there now without worrying about taking damage for no reason, and I'll kill it next turn. Now, on Jenny's end, very sadly, she can't do anything about this locked door. Like, I could commit Unexpected Courage and try to pick it at 5 to 4. I'm much better off just leaving. So I'm going to move 2 locations away to the other first floor wing. I can exhaust an ally asset to discover a clue at this location once per round. I'm sad to say that might be the best thing I can do. I would obviously like to activate Milan, but it's just so likely to fail that I'm going to just exhaust him instead to take the clue automatically. No enemies do anything during the enemy phase, upkeep phase. Sadly, Dragon Pole is now a backup weapon. I eventually plan to replace it with Bandoliers and Survival Knives, but for now, it's just redundancy to make sure I get something in play that can kill all the enemies. And top of the round, Doom does not advance. This guy goes up to 2 Doom. And evil cards. Since I have clues, I'm going to test book 4, and for each point I fail by, I'm going to lose a clue. Going to toss an unexpected courage at this to be up 2, because my magnifying glass isn't helping. And cool, it does nothing. Acolyte is going to spawn at an empty location. Going to put him at the top because it's the one I'm currently clearing out. And these all have the text that I reveal location when somebody spawns here. After I successfully investigate this location, take 2 horror, discover 1 clue at this location, and limit once per round. So if I have horror to take, I can just get clues faster here, which is neat, but that's not really where I'm at right now. I'm more at just trying to sort out Jenny doing something useful because she hasn't drawn any of her draw cards and is sort of floundering right now at 5 book. I'm going to go first as Lily, engage with this aloof Seeker of Carcosa, and then swing at 10 to 2, 9 to 2 rather. That is 5 to 2, succeeds by 3 or more, 3 exactly, in fact, and kills this man in 1 hit. And as my last action, I'm going to play Emergency Cash from under this Stick to the Plan. That way I can maybe use Ever Vigilant on multiple items next turn, and I don't feel like walking in here and taking 1 damage for no reason with this Acolyte. On Jenny's end, we've got a whole lot of nothing going on, so I'm going to exhaust Milan for a free clue probably, but I can do that at the end of the turn. I don't want to play Easy Mark without hitting a second Easy Mark, so I'm going to draw a card. Black Market means that next turn we get 2 off, so I no longer have any interest in drawing cards or playing my Easy Mark, because I'm probably going to see 1 under Black Market. So instead, I'll exhaust Milan to take this clue. And I'll move back to the center of this room. Oh, and I forgot to reveal this location, this Quiet Halls. And it has the same guaranteed effect to make sure you don't get locked out as the other one. Yeah, they're the exact same, it's just which floor they're on. Alright, enemy phase, nobody does anything, upkeep phase. Drawing the sign, cool. I toss Unexpected Courage and Emergency Cash. And another Tetsuo over here is nice, but not what I want at the moment. Top of the round, Doom does not get added, evil cards. So I have to either draw a card or take 1 direct damage in horror, so eventually I'll be taking the 1/1 directs, but it's not happening just yet, probably. Actually, it's probably happening this round, because I'm going to get rid of this and move down, probably? I don't know what's down. It confuses me that down was added. I'm going to go up, just because I don't want to move away from Lily, but I am very interested in what's down here. And Lily's evil card... I got briefly very confused. I was wondering if Jenny had gotten an evil card, because I forgot, because I was thinking this was drawn in upkeep phase. Right, so evil card for Lily is another locked door. This can go anywhere. I'm going to put it on this location we've already finished, though, that will never have clues added to it. And it's our turn. First action, I'm going to move over. Second action, I'm going to swing at 1,000,000 to nothing. Cool, he's dead. I'd only be at 4 to 3 if I played Sixth Sense. Right now, I haven't found any of my assets that help. So instead of playing Sixth Sense and trying to investigate here, I'm going to start moving back towards Lily, or Jenny, rather, when I fix them up forever. For Jenny, I'm going to toss 2 of these actions away to get rid of drawing the sign. I'm going to use the last one to move up. Enemies don't exist, upkeep phase, and we draw a double-double. Maybe we don't play Black Market this time. Also, this is end of round or end of turn? End of turn, so it happens immediately. I take my 1/1. And over here, the other Dragon Bull. This does make me feel good about trying to run Bandolier and Survival Knives instead of Dragon Pulls. It feels pretty terrible to be drawing these actually useless cards. They commit for a fist and I attack at 10, why would I ever care? Top of the round, we don't add Doom. Led Astray. There are no cultist enemies, so I can place 1 Doom on the current agenda, and that's it. Does that mean I want to keep an Acolyte alive but near me to avoid having to do that? That's unintuitive, but probably correct. Okay, yeah, I definitely wanted to keep that Acolyte alive. Well, let's not clues off of me, but there's this thing, right? So far, there hasn't been that much direct damage, and I could just create new clues on this. Also, there's probably only 2 or 3 of those. With how harsh it is, I'm thinking it's 2. So I've just gotten unlucky, and I'm probably going to hang out at 2 forever. I just have to make sure I can actually kill any enemies that spawn. So for Jenny, I'm going to play... Do I want to play Black Market this turn, even though I'll only have 2 actions? Yes. I'm going to play 1 cost Black Market at the start of the investigation phase. And we see Emergency Cash, Burning the Midnight Oil, Deep Knowledge, Faustian Bargain, and Well Connected. First action, I'm going to play... I was originally planning on playing Double here. Something that's occurred to me is if this was a campaign with 2 real-life people, the Lily would absolutely hate the Jenny. Jenny takes up so much time, and it all just makes her better and does nothing for Lily. And this is the worst part of it. I'm about to make an optimal play, or what I perceive as an optimal play at least. It involves Lily spending her whole turn to play cards for Jenny. So I do play Double as my first action, and I activate Double on this Emergency Cash instead of the Faustian Bargain to get 12 resources. And then for 2 resources, I play a Well Connected. For Lily's turn, I walk down. Then I use a Deep Knowledge for all 3 cards. Let's see the cards in order. I'm definitely giving 2 of them to Jenny. She probably doesn't need the last one anymore. And I have a bunch of cards in my hand that sort of suck on Lily. So I actually will give the other 2 to Jenny, or to Lily rather. And as her last action, we played Deep Knowledge. We're going to play Faustian Bargain as well. So we're up to 4 curse tokens. And I don't see us needing more than 12 resources after I play the Stand Together and get the upkeep. So we're giving all of that to Jenny. And this helps us thin out the deck a lot, because now when these reshuffle back in, it won't be bringing in Emergency Caches and Faustian Bargain and Deep Knowledges. It'll just be bringing in more new cards that we want to see. So, no enemies are around. Upkeep phase. We don't add Doom during the Mythos phase, we just get it from cards. Wizard of the Order spawns in an empty location. I'll throw him over here on the left. And Acolyte spawns in an empty location. I'll throw him over here on the right. The Acolyte starts with a Doom, and the Mythos phase ends, putting another Doom here, beginning the investigation phase, and reshuffling this into my deck. So pretty straightforward. Lily has to walk to the left and deal with this one. It's just clearly the bigger problem. So we'll swing at... God, I just keep thinking I'm wrong, that it's base 9. 9 to 4. 0, very dead. Oh, and I should have revealed both these locations when I did this. While you investigate here, your book cannot be increased, so I'll probably be getting those clues with an intel report. And on the other side, we have... it doesn't really matter, but from a game design standpoint, I'm very unhappy that these 2 locations are the exact same location. And as Shinny's last action, I'm going to walk back to the middle so I can come deal with the Acolyte next turn. Very much playing Whack-A-Mole at the moment. I was supposed to play Black Market. I'm still going to, it's just that I can't interact with Lily anymore. Like, it's objectively worse for me to do it this way. I'm at the point where I'm tired enough of using Jenny's ability that I might not bother getting Greenman Medallion now. I might just let it shuffle back into my deck and start it later, because I don't need much experience from it anymore. And also, I hate using it. I am going to double the intel report, which I worry I didn't pay for the original one, so I'll pay again. Or double the Black Market, rather. So we have a lot of options here on Jenny's turn now. The things I really want to play are Leo DeLuca and the Black Fan, and then Hot Streak. So I guess Hot Streak first, and I can't double it because I've already spent a double this turn. So I'm going to take Hot Streak for 5 resources. Leo DeLuca, I've got Charisma for that. We'll spend all the resources I just got with Hot Streak. And then last action, I'm going to play the Black Fan for 3 resources. And right now, all it's doing is giving me +1 health, +1 sanity. It'll do a lot more later. So, enemies. Nobody moves. Upkeep phase. Alright, Burden of Destiny can just flip my Brain Wind. That one resets on its own very easily most of the time. In terms of stuff I don't need, it's absolutely these Dragon Poles and this Sixth Sense. I will keep the Dragon Pole just in case somehow I lose this, but I don't think Rotting Remains was even in this list. And Jenny draws the Man in the Pallid Mask. Furthest away location will be one of the bottom ones. We'll throw him in this corner. Don't add Doom and counter cards. The Fanatic's going to spawn on this location and take a clue, which I believe has forced turn it into a Doom. Yes. And Lily gets the King's Edict. Okay, so all of these cultists, which is to say both of these cultists, are going to take a clue, which flips to its Doom side now. And they both get +1 fight to the end of the round. So, let's go sort that out so that we don't progress the agenda immediately. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to swing at both of them. They're both at 4. So I'm swinging at 8 with this. I'll use Overpower on the first one. 10 to 4. Move a curse token and kill. I didn't specify, but I guess I would have swung at the Fanatic. They're largely equivalent enemies in my mind, which is why I didn't bother specifying. And now we're just swinging at 8 to 4. I'll commit the Dragon Pole. I have no reason not to. Not that it mattered, and that will flip my Discipline back. Not that it matters, because it would have flipped anyway. And we kill the Acolyte. So, Lily has done pretty well at her game of Whack-A-Mole so far. On Jenny's end, we would like to actually get online, which we're pretty close to doing. Last turn, I should have had a 4th action. It's been so long since I got to play Leo DeLuca that I forgot to do it. But oh well, we'll make up for it this turn. I'm going to play double-double on Faustian Bargain as my first action for 10 resources. I think the worst part of this campaign for the hypothetical other Lily player is that I keep putting curses in the bag. The bag is just always filled with curse tokens. Every scenario lasts 20 extra minutes. And she gets absolutely nothing for it. Well, eventually she'll get carried for it, I hope. That's the dream. And now I have 5 actions because the Black Fan is online at 15. So it's giving me +1 everything, which is damn nice. Oh. We haven't drawn yet, which is good because all of this goes back in my deck. I'm going to move to where Lily is. I'm going to investigate at 6 to 3. Pass anyway. Thanks, curse token. Take this clue and gain a money. And now I'm just going to start going off doing my own thing, I think. Are the other 2 easy marks both in my deck still? Seems unlikely, but it is what happens. Going to move up, I believe, and clear out the top floors before coming down to the bottom basement level. Actually, rather than moving up, let's just advance the act now. This is the point where I don't actually remember Carcosa anymore, haven't replayed it for any game testing, and I don't know what this does. So let's see what the act progression does. You find a record kept by one of the Society's historians pertaining to the dreadful events surrounding the closing of an old theater in Arkham, the Cedar Playhouse. Though there's no explicit mention of the King in Yellow, you believe you are on the right track. The historian's notes are cut short, and there's a faded, handwritten page clipped to the final entry. This matter is too ghastly for the public eye. I am placing the remainder of this record in the hidden library. All further inquiries should be done away from prying eyes, for this is a dangerous matter and not one to be researched lightly. For each revealed historical society location, add 1 clue to it to a maximum of its clue value, or 1 player's clue, so 2. They can't go above their values, though. So these go back up to 2. This one goes back up to 4. Because it can't go above its value, none of these gain clues. And that's actually great for us, because it means I can keep investigating at 6 to 3. And yeah, I don't plan on taking horror, because that's a lot of horror, but I will just investigate. Or get rid of clue tokens. There is no nearest... Oh shit, there's the Man in the Pallid Mask. Well, we gotta go deal with him now. Get rid of those curse tokens, though. I'm wondering if there's anything that makes it urgent to go deal with them. I guess if I were to draw, like, double Acolytes... I don't feel like I have to urgently deal with the Man in the Pallid Mask. But if I were to get curse tokens into Cultists again, it would progress the agenda. So maybe taking this test isn't good right now, and I'll move back so I can go deal with him next turn. Because with 5 actions, I can just move around the whole map pretty freely. That's sort of the crazy thing that this Jenny build does, and that any Black Fan Leo DeLuca build can do. Where you just end up having so many actions that it's fine that you're not as good as a Seeker because you just have a functional stat line and you take twice as many turns as anyone else. So that's the end of my round. Upkeep phase. Money Talks is nice. I thought Money Talks was nice, but then I realized it's not the upgraded one that draws a card, and I'm less enthralled about it. Alright, time for evil cards. Ginny's evil card is the Cult Search. There's a cultist enemy in play. There is not. This guy isn't a cultist, is he? No, of course not. If there are no cultist enemies in play with Doom on them, search the encounter deck and discard power for an enemy cultist and draw it. Generally, the occultist cards aren't that hard to deal with, so I'm going to choose to get one out of the discard pile. Instead, I'm going to take this Acolyte and throw him on the path down, because I will be going down on Ginny. And it will get one Doom. And Lily's evil card is the Hunting Shadow. You must either spend one clue or take 2 damage, and I don't really get a choice in that matter, now do I? So, Lily's going to go first. Move, move, swing. We're at 9-3. What a surprise, he's dead. Now, Ginny's going to come fix the mess that she created. Oh, I should have revealed this, huh? Oh, wow, that's terrifying. I'm not a fan of that effect. 1 shroud, 2 clues. Forced. After you discover 1 or more clues at this location, 1 at a time, draw that many cards from the top of the encounter deck. It does say at, though, and not from, so I think I can intel report that, as opposed to actually going there and doing it properly. For Ginny's turn, I'm going to move 3 times down here, which will reveal the basement on the way. And it has the same backdoor guarantee text to get more clues as everything else. This is only a 3 shroud check to kill this man instead of discovering clues, which means I don't have to worry about drawing encounter cards. And it's going to be well connected because I haven't used that yet. So I'm testing at 1,000,000, 5 + 6, 11-3. What a surprise, he's dead. Let's go ahead and mark down another check for chasing the stranger. And I have absolutely no desire to be here. I'll get these clues from a different location with intel report instead, as opposed to drawing 2 encounter cards. Speaking of, what's our current goal? I think I may have just forgotten to read Act 2. Somewhere in the manor is a hidden library where you might be able to find more information about the King in Yellow. You must find the way in if you are to continue your investigation for clues. Which we have made no progress on this turn, but we have sort of alleviated the Doom situation. Once we cycle the deck, we're going to hit Led Astray again, but we have 9 turns until then, where we should be able to keep the Doom under check. So, upkeep phase, Greenman Medallion. Usually a great card, I'm going to start using it, but like I kind of don't need it for this one. And Holy Rosary is nice to see. If we have decent evil cards this time, we might be able to play it. False Lead. I have no clues, it gains Surge. This has Surge, I don't have any cards in my hand, so it does nothing again. Either spend a clue or take a damage. I'll be taking 2 damage, so I don't have a say in the matter. 1 on myself and 1 on Leo. And the evil card for Lily is King's Edict. Will gain Surge. She'll get a hidden card. Well, it won't be going off this turn, because I will absolutely be playing cards. Because we finally don't have enemies that we need to urgently deal with. First action for Lily. I'm going to play from underneath, stick to the plan, my Ever Vigilant. For Tetsuo Mori, Brother Xavier, and Holy Rosary. Which cost a total of 10, -1 each for 7. Leaving me with 6 resources. Second action, I'm going to play 6 cents for 3 resources. And now my brain is up to 6, so I can investigate with 6 cents. And also I'm swinging this hammer at 11, which seems very fair and very balanced. Unfortunately, I don't have any overpowers, and my base fist is only 5, so I kind of can't break these locked doors. I guess I don't need to, though. For my last action, I'll just move down here. That way I can help deal with any enemies that spawn and be near Lily. Or be near Ginny, rather. And for Ginny's turn, I'm going to start by going left and seeing if this location is useful. So this location has 5 shroud and 4 clues, but it has the forced effect of whenever you investigate this, if there's a cultist in play, it gets -3 shroud. And if you reveal a face token, then you move 1 clue from the location to the cultist enemy, which would, of course, get turned into a Doom by this effect. So you basically can't investigate this if there are cultists. But if there aren't, you have to investigate at 5, which also sucks. I think I might actually just straight draw an action a couple of times. I'll investigate with Well Connected once for sure. That's just like at 1,000,000. Yeah, easy clip. And that triggers Milan as well. I'm obviously playing Greenman Medallion this turn. Because a base cost of 1. I'm going to use this easy mark with double double just so I have something to do, I think. Gain 2 resources. Draw a card. Yep, I'll be double doubling that easy mark. Gain 2 resources, draw another card. Burn the Midnight Oil is nice, but again, I can't really investigate this place properly right now. So next turn, I'll be using another well-connected charge, and then we'll probably be double doubling an intel report to get the rest of the clues here, as well as there, with 1 card. And if that's our plan, we should probably draw towards those intel reports, because both of them are in the bottom 9. Anyway, that's our turn. Top of the round, you don't add Doom. Well, we should probably do Upkeep, as always. Don't know why I keep forgetting that. Sacrificial Beast spawns, which, is the location furthest from me? Yeah. We're going to throw him up here, just to reveal this location. Each enemy here gets +1 fight and evade. That might be a problem if we weren't attacking at 11 on Lily. I should gain 1 less money, though, because this thing has spawned. Oh, let's imagine that I'd used Greenman Medallion last turn, like I obviously would have. Alright, top of the round, evil cards. Ginny gets a Seeker of Carcosa. Any empty Historical Society locations, so we're going to be tossing it to the right of Lily. And Lily gets Maddening Delusions. Did this actually go off? I forgot this was in my hands. I definitely took play actions last turn, so it did not, which means I take 1 horror. Which means that Tetsuo takes 1 horror. Alright, this is the second time I've come back from a phone call during this Mythos phase. Hopefully we can finish it this time. My next card is another hidden card. This one will go off if I don't move. And that finally brings us to our round. Lily's turn, as always, is simple. I'm going to move, engage, and swing. We're swinging at 11 to 2. Yeah, I was making sure that it didn't do something even if I succeeded. I wasn't quite sure. -2 is not even close to a problem. Ginny's turn. Let's see if she can actually get clues and make this actually work, because so far it's been kind of rough. I am going to well-connected 1 check. And it'll be an investigate check, and I'm going to be using burning the Midnight Oil for it to get 2 resources. It is 1,000,000 to 5, so we're probably fine. And now I'm going to draw cards, because I just need to hit something actually useful. The second well-connected isn't it. I'm not going to spend an action and 2 resources to take another investigate check. Counter-espionage is again nice, but not what I'm looking for. Deep knowledge is great and all, but for my last action, I'm just going to move back to the middle. And then because of deep knowledge and the upkeep draw, knowing there are 2 intel reports in here, I have a guaranteed deep knowledge into double-doubled intel report to get both of these locations. And I guess I'll Greenman Medallion begrudgingly. Upkeep phase, there are no living enemies. Top of the round, no Doom. And hidden card. This one will go off if I don't use a resource action. See, with all the other ones, it's clear that what isn't a resource action, or rather move or play. But it's unclear to me if something like burning the Midnight Oil or Faustian Bargain is a resource action. I don't feel like they are, because they don't have resource bolded anywhere on them. But at the same time, though, it doesn't specify that it has to be a basic action, so I'm not really sure. Regardless, though, one of these went off. It's the one where you do a play action, so Lily takes 1/1. Anyway, Lily's evil card is another Acolyte, which we'll be putting in the top middle, and she'll go deal with that. I'll do that immediately. Move, move, swing is her turn. 1, 2, and 3. Get him out of here. Not even bothering to put Doom on him. Now, for Ginny, first action, I'm playing Deep Knowledge and drawing 3 cards myself. The intel reports were actually the bottom 2 cards. That's very funny. But like I said, we had the guarantee here. I am going to play intel report for 6 twice, running me down to $23. And using my double-double in the process, but I'm going to get all 4 of these clues for 1 action. Don't look at how much money that cost me. Just look at how many clues I got for 1 action without taking a test. And I believe that we can progress the act again, so I'm going to do that. That cost me 4 of my clues, so get rid of that pile. As you rummage through a desk drawer, you're startled when you hear a voice behind you. "Excuse me, can I help you?" Your lead to find the voice belonging to a thin, elderly man wearing wide-rimmed glasses. A member of the Historical Society, no doubt. You explain to him that you are searching for a hidden library somewhere in the manor, though you purposely leave out why. He introduces himself as Mr. Peabody, the Historical Society's curator. I'll help you find what you're looking for, he explains. But only if you tell me what this is all about once we get there. You hope it doesn't come to that. For each revealed Historical Society location in play, add 2 clues up to its maximum clue value. So the ones that we've actually been to and changed are these 2 at the bottom. That's it. Actually, yep, just these 2 at the bottom. One of us gets to take Mr. Peabody, which will probably be Jenny. Yeah, Jenny has an ally slot open right now, so I'll give it to her because she has both copies of Charisma, and I'm not going to be playing Daria. And put the set-aside hidden library location into play. I forgot to use this and spawn the Keeper of the Oath when I progress into Act 2 or 3. Well, we can still do one of them. So, having cheated, I can either replay the scenario, which I won't be doing, spawn one of them now, or spawn both of them now, and I'll be going with the latter. This is the closer to making up for it than spawning just one. The Keeper of the Oath is a 5/3/3 monster that hits for 1/1. Because I progressed further on the act and the agenda, it's going to gain Hunter. And at the end of the phase, if you're in the same trait location as the Keeper of the Oath, then you'll move one of your clues to him. For instance, these guys are on the ground floor, so if you're on the ground floor, they'll take clues from you. And let's imagine I put them up here, because it turns out Lily's already taken her turn. Jenny is absolutely going to need to help with this problem I've created, but first let's figure out what the act is actually doing. Act 3A, The Oath. This building is very old and filled with all manner of secret passageways, Mr. Peabody explains. Perhaps one of them will lead to this library you're looking for. Locations with a passageway trait are connected to one another, and objective, only investigators in the hidden library may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. The hidden library is in fact hidden. It has no connections and nothing says it will be connected to it, although any enemy can move to the library and then to your location from there. But because we're within one location already, they can just both move here instead of to the library. And the way you get there is you exhaust Mr. Peabody, and until Mr. Peabody readies, that location gets a -1 shroud in the passageway trait, meaning it connects to all of these outer locations. That's not true. It only connects to 3 of these locations, 4 of them. And to make this easier for myself, I'm going to drop resource tokens on the outside of all the passageway locations so that I can more easily tell what's going on. So Jenny is going to want to move up and help deal with this because we have 2 enemies that, you know, it'd be nice if she contributed something towards killing them. Although, honestly, Lily might just kill them both instantly. I hope I haven't been gaining money since I spawned the Sacrificial Beast. Odds are that I've been messing that up badly. It turns out having to leave the house multiple times and getting multiple phone calls during a scenario messes up my thinking. Also, I'm probably still just bad at this generally and didn't even need the handicap to mess this up. But enough being sad about it. Let's finish the scenario out. I'm going to move up. I have 2 actions left. I'd like to get some stuff out of my hands. Unfortunately, none of the stuff in my hand really gets played easily. Easy marks don't do anything with Sacrificial Beast in play. I think I'm just going to end my turn. Like, I'm going to gain 2 resources with resource actions, which this thing does not stop. It only stops card effects. And just have that be my turn. Hunter phase, these enemies move like this. And now, upkeep phase. Second floor, ground floor, we don't share traits, they don't steal our clues. And Jenny's going to need to discard some cards over here. Dario and Well Connected are easily gone. Did I trigger this? No, I specifically made sure to play in a way that doesn't trigger that. Or that does, rather, to get it out of my hand. I'll take the 1/1 direct. And now I can hold all these cards in my hands. What about yours? Did yours go off? I feel confident that she moved during her turn, but again, I've left the house and had a phone call since then. I have no idea. So that brings us to the Mythos phase. Mysterious Chanting, play Studio on the nearest cultist, which will be this guy. It's not actually a choice. I take 2 damage. I've got a spare Tetsuo in my hand, so I might just kill the Tetsuo here. It seems better to put it on Xavier, just to potentially put more damage on Tetsuo somehow in the future. And I'll go first as Lily. I'm going to move up, which engages both of these men. They are 5/3s, which would normally be quite scary, but yeah, odds are actually pretty good I kill them both here. 0. One of them's dead. Just to remind you, I'm swinging at 11. And if I succeed by 3 or more, which is pretty easy to do even against 5, it deals 3, which is their health. -2. That's 9 to 5. 3 or more, also dead. And these guys have victory 0, so they don't go there. I suspect if I had summoned them at the right time, it would not have meaningfully impacted my ability to play the game. Jenny probably gained money from the upkeep button that I didn't get rid of. I'm absolutely certain that at least once I've forgotten to use this ability because of all of these phone calls. And I am going to, I think, just head to the library up here. 1, 2, 3. Jenny has kind of a lot of actions. And I'm going to investigate once with well connected at 1 million. Well, it's less than 1 million now. So -10, what was the actual number? I had 6 base plus 4 for a total of 10. So I suspect I failed. But the good news is I got rid of 4 curse tokens, which was literally all of them. So I'll try again at 6 to 3. And that one is a pass. I'll get a money from Milan and one of the clues. Upkeep phase, because there are no hunter enemies in play. Jenny needs to get rid of one of her money when I do this, though. And I need to toss a card as well, which will be this level 0 money talks. And Mythos phase. Mysterious Chanting is going to pull a cultist out. Cultists are generally not that hard for me to deal with, though. So I'm going to put it in this room so that Lily can move there and then into the historical library location. And I'm going to take an Acolyte. It's just objectively correct to get him instead of the other kind of cultist and put some extra doom on him. Actually, he just gets his original doom because I'm summoning him with that effect. And Lily's card is Seeker. It looks like I'm going to have to let this one slide because I've just sort of screwed myself. I could deal with it with Jenny, but I think I'll just let the agenda progress, probably. I'm definitely putting it there every time. At the end of the Mythos phase, it's going to take this clue, which the agenda will flip to its doom side. And now I can start thinking about what the hell to do with the situation I put myself in. After I use my money again, because Jesus Christ, someday I'll remember to do this. As Jenny, I'm going to go bankrupt soon. I have to kill this thing. Just because I know I'm going to keep forgetting it, I'm going to go deal with this instead. I'm well connecting a backstab. It took me a while to figure out 21 minus 3 is 18, but I got there. And that will be at 3, 6, and that'll be at 3, 6, 7 to 4. Star does nothing on Jenny, but it does kill the sacrificial beast. I'm going to play 2 easy marks as 1 action when a reaction. Draw 2 cards, gain 4 resources. I'm going to double as an easy mark for a resource and a card. And should I just be investigating this place? Probably, right? It is fucking 6 to 1, probably, or 6 to 2. So yeah, I'll investigate. -2 is a resource and a clue. So with Lily, I can't possibly deal with all the doom that's in play right now, but I can deal with the more threatening enemy that's in play, so I'll move over. This thing's aloof, right? Yeah. Engage and swing at 1 million. It's dead. Unfortunately, that does mean that after this upkeep phase, did Lily hit her weakness and I just didn't even notice? Evidently, that must have happened at some point. So I'll do this and I'll take 1 horror. It's not direct, so I'll put it on Xavier. Anyway, upkeep phase. Here's her other weakness. She is here, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. One of these locations, I'll put it in the passageway location so that we can actually get to it eventually. And upkeep phase for Jenny as well. And top of the round, no doom, Mythos cards. What do I mean, no doom? I mean, I'll draw that card again in a second if the discard file is not getting shuffled, but we are progressing the agenda because there is 4 doom in play. It's been a while since we got to do this. This is the first time the agenda is advancing all game. A phrase in a language you cannot describe whispers to the building, and without warning, all the electric lights shatter at once. You light a nearby candle and continue your search. The building is quite different once plunged into darkness. Shadows and silhouettes dance along the walls. Crevices you hadn't noticed before draw your wary eye. What other secrets does this building hold? And just like I was afraid of, you shuffle this together, so the cards we're getting are going to be different. New agenda, same as the old one. However, the flavor text is different. Ransacking the manor. Though the whispering has ceased, the sounds of rummaging and furniture shifting is unmistakable. Whoever is here, they're searching just as thoroughly as you are. Evil card is the King's Edicts. there is a cultist enemy. He's going to take this clue. And yeah, it has the same exact forced effect. And he has +1 fight for this round, not that it will ever matter. This is just a hassle. Because I keep not being able to spawn these guys on the locations that I want them in. I put him in this location so that I can eventually deal with him. I'm going to go first as Jenny. As her first action, she's going to use Mr. Peabody's ability to give a location the passageway trait. It's going to be the hidden library. Then as her next 2 actions, she's going to walk across the building and then through the passageway into the hidden library. And while enemies are moving, this has the passageway trait. So it's just open for enemies, but not for us. I don't think I necessarily need to deal with all these enemies. Like, I think I just have the ability to finish the scenario before they're ever relevant. I'm going to use Intel Report and double for 8 resources to get 4 clues without a test off of this location. I moved, Peabody's ability, moved. That's our final action. This is the last act, so even though I could progress it, I'm just not going to. I want to get this victory too real quick. And also, like, we could sandbag a while. I'm not going to. I'm going to call it at 24. And I definitely missed at least 1, probably 2 or 3 curse tokens from this accursed follower. Oh, and also he gained a doom, which got removed immediately, so it doesn't matter. Actually, no, because King's Edict just went into play, he would have taken a second clue and be up to 4. And it's the end of the Mythos phase when this thing's ability goes off. So it would have 1 as well. Oh, things got rapidly out of control with 1 King's Edict, didn't it? Which would also have affected this character. Apparently I just use it on this Acolyte instead of everyone. Turns out you can't just leave Acolytes alive. Probably should have done something else with Jenny this turn. Well, it's fine. We'll progress the agenda, and then we'll progress the act next turn, and we'll win. Lily's going to move twice and swing at this Acolyte, which kills it. That gets her in a passageway, able to come do something relevant, maybe. But more importantly, it just makes the maximum doom we can generate in 1 round smaller. Upkeep phase. We're going to toss the second Rosary. We absolutely don't need the soak. So I probably could have just played Talisman of Protection during my turn instead. Over here, 8 cards, we're good. Mythos phase. We don't advance immediately. We only have 3 in play. How nice. Here's another Acolyte. If we want to go back and kill him, we can. But I rather doubt we will. I think we're just accepting the doom is advancing. But 1 or more hidden cards, or do I? Did this go off? It did not go off, so nothing happens. I draw a new one with Surge. There's just so many of these guys. I can put it here so it's connected by the passageway location rules. And into the Mythos phase, there are no clues for this man to take, but he still just generates a doom, and this man takes a doom. But that's fine, it doesn't progress the act. Also, enemy phase, add a curse token. This is the point where, like, I can very obviously go much longer. First action, Jenny moves, then she engages, then she swings at 11 to 2. Because passageways are connected right now, in case you have forgotten. -2 deals 3, and it kills this enemy. On a Jenny's turn, I'm going to double a Burning the Midnight Oil to investigate twice and gain 2 resources each time. Let's imagine I played Black Market at the start of the investigation phase like I was supposed to. I will forget that forever. And the reason I'm doing this is actually because I want skills. Gonna use the second Black Market as well. We've seen 2 unexpected courages so far, which is great for us. But really, I'm just looking for committable book icons. So on this first one, I'm going to commit Unexpected Courage. And Dario. And that gets me to investigating at 6 space, 7, 8, 9 to 4. Seems pretty solid. Alright, very easily past that first one. Milan will give me a money. And the double Burning the Midnight Oil. Going to commit the other Unexpected Courage and a Faustian Bargain to investigate again at 9 to 4. 7 to 4, 6 to 4, still pass, get rid of a curse token as well. Okay, so this is the point where the scenario is over. I've seen all the victory point locations, I've shuffled the encounter deck. I can leave right now. But the thing is, the agenda doesn't actually have to advance. I've got a backstab in hand. I can use Peabody's ability to give my location passageway, pop out over here, engage with him, and backstab with well connected for +3, 7 to 2. Killing this man. And I'll spend some money to tick this up. And we're not going to do that. There's an entire agenda left, and all Jenny has to do is help kill people. She can just walk around using well-connected to punch Acolytes. She doesn't even have to deal more than 1 damage. She has guaranteed kills on Acolytes, basically. Since this is basically completely under control, if I wanted to be a complete asshole, I could say, I can sit here and get this number to 60. And honestly, I can. I could sit here and grind it out and get this number to 60 and buy the red clock level 5 for free. I'm not going to do that. I've lost all patience with this ability. I would never want to play with somebody using Greenman Medallion. Instead, I'm just going to say I could obviously get this to 24. That's only 3 more ticks. We're not progressing the agenda anytime soon. The game is completely under control. We're just asking when do we want to leave. Jenny's taken no damage. Lily is completely fine as well. So, let's all just imagine this was at 24. Next turn, I go back and I spend the clues in the hidden library, and we progress the act. Can we agree on that? Do I actually have to play out me just grinding this? Because if I do, I'm going to go all the way to 60. I think this is a decent compromise of playability versus the absolute cancer that is Greenman Medallion. I was expecting to enjoy grinding Greenman Medallion. It turns out I despise it. Even when it's just me and there's no like feeling bad about the other player, when you've won the scenario and you're still just hanging out, it doesn't feel good. So, progressing the final act. As you study the hidden library, you find a few pieces of information that stand out. As with the recent production, the previous performance of The King in Yellow came to Arkham overseas and was performed by a French acting troupe. You don't recognize any of the cast members' names, and of course the actor who played the role of the stranger is anonymous. However, it seems that a member of the Historical Society has done some of your work for you. There are several old newspaper clippings gathered together along with information about the play. Headlines include Cedar Playhouse closes due to fire, experts baffled over freak floods, and the like. Hidden among this information, you also find a strange object, a clasp of onyx with an alien inscription. The investigators must decide. This is an important discovery. We should take it, or it's just a silly trinket. It would be wrong to steal from the Historical Society. Leave it behind. I'd be lying if I said what this does isn't directly related to how much I want it. Well, it's objectively bad for me, so I really want it. Also, it looks like if I did let the agendas advance, I would spawn the possessed Oathkeeper. And I could kill it for victory too, as well as finish off the library and just stack up the victory, because I don't have to leave once I do the library. Don't have to spend those clues. And I'm guessing that if I had taken that route, I'd be talking about taking the Tattered Cloak instead. But yeah, I'll be taking the class with Black Onyx. Which means that we're taking Resolution 1. So in the campaign log, I'm going to mark 1 conviction. Surely I forgot to record conviction for burning the house down. Yes, I should be at 2 conviction for burning the house down, and this is my 3rd conviction. We earn victory experience equal to the victory display. There's really not a lot of victory in this scenario. There's 2 here, and there's 1 for the Agent of the King. And I'll be taking 1 more because of my rules about the Delve token, so only 4 experience. And none of these locations that I left out had experience either. This is just a very low experience scenario compared to the last couple. Unless I want to farm the Possessed Oathkeeper, which seems like it's probably just the optimal route is to kill this guy. And because we chose to take it, we're going to remove all of our face tokens in the bag and add 2 cultists to it, which I'm pretty sure is still where we're at. Yep, that's what we were already doing. But we should get rid of all these curses. The worst part of this campaign, by the way, it's clicking down all of the little tickers I have for Jenny at the end of each scenario. I'm done for now, though. Next time, I'll play the Unspeakable Oath, which is a scenario my group loved the first time, and I'm hoping it lives up to my memories and the hype we have built around it. But for now, I'm done. I'll be spending my experience upgrading my decks, and I'll be back with you tomorrow for Scenario 4 of the Path to Carcosa.